Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Pattison Ave Phanatics Show. I'm your host, Tom Kelly. With me, as always, Joseph Marks.
I am not the Don.
You are not the Don. James Corsa.
What's going on, guys?
Dave Yarnell.
How's everybody doing?
No Frank Finnegan or Damon this week. Damon's got some stuff going on, and Frank has some stuff going on as well. So you get our ugly mugs again.
Here we go again.
Here we go again. That's right. Before we go again, let's get into some of the fine sponsors of the program. Starting with Philly Sports Trips. The Birds bus trip to D.C. is September 25th. Watch out for the railings when you go down there. Lower level tickets, bus, food, drink, entertainment, and much more. Only $325, and it gets you all that. That's a steal.
That's one reason why I'm a little hesitant to go myself.
The railings?
Yeah, well, I got to hold on to something I can't see. I'm just worried about,
Right.
something giving way.
Absolutely. Good morning, Norm.
Norm!
Everybody loves Cheers, man.
Oh,
I think not love you.
This is true. This is true. But if you happen to have a railing fall on you, maybe you could call David Cherry Esquire at 610-565-0300. Workman's.
Maybe if I can have him on retainer, if I go to Washington, I can have him on retainer.
Workers' compensation, motor vehicle accidents, personal injury. There you go.
Yeah.
Criminal law. Give David Cherry Esquire a call again at 610-565-0300 or at cherryinjurylaw.com. Now, when I tell you that our lineup on this network has grown exponentially, I am not BSing you. Mondays, get the Broad Street Bullies podcast with the Sully Squad at 6. Party on Broad at 9, and the Fighting Finals versus the Reds was this past week. But after every Phillies game, Matty B's doing his thing with the Fighting Final.
I didn't see one last night.
I
didn't see that.
Okay, except for last night. Thanks, Dave, for ruining my.
I'm just saying.
It's always my fault.
Tuesdays, 6 p.m., the Kelly Green Hour. 8 p.m., Birds of the Round Table. 9 p.m., Talking Philly Sports with Matty B. 10 p.m., Chalk Talk. Wednesdays, you got the Fighting Final. Like every night now, there's a Fighting Final, except obviously for the one that Dave just pointed out. Phillies Press Box Radio at 7 p.m. And at a new time at 8:30 p.m., you get the Edge of Philly Sports Show. Thursdays, Birds IQ. The Round Mound at 8 p.m. and Attack of the Third at 9 p.m.
It's your soccer show.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm not, but I am not. It's nothing against their show. I am just not a soccer guy. It's not my cup of tea. And then Fridays, you got Chalk Talk again, Kelly Green Hour. And Saturday mornings, you get our ugly mugs all across all the time at 4 p.m. And then on Sundays, the Devereaux Sports Show at 9 a.m. Eagles postgame versus the Browns will be this Sunday. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And then another Fighting Finals with the Phils taking on the Mets here. And speaking of the Phils.
Well, okay, before you do that, I happened to see that lacrosse show changed their show. It's from Sunday at 9 to Saturday at 4. Is that right?
Yes.
I guess so, yeah.
I'm just saying.
That's quite an observation you made there, David. Pat Bernard, what's up?
Hey,
What's going on,
Cobbler,
Pat?
what's
How
up,
you
baby?
doing,
We got Pat. We got Fooge in the house. What's up, Fooge?
What's up, baby?
Oh, some of my favorites right there. Broad Street South and Devereaux Sports
So
checking in.
I'm curious, Tom, how long is it going to take you until you guest appear on Kelly Green, the Kelly Green?
My agent hasn't gotten to me with any requests yet.
I'm still waiting for him to go on a Fighting Final. I haven't
So
seen yet.
I have not been on a Fighting Final.
I haven't been on the Fights Final yet either.
I figured you didn't do that either.
So I might have to make an appearance there.
I have to probably.
I mean, I would think for the Kelly Green Hour, they have to
Muffler
supply
Mike, good morning, Mike.
supply a
Hey,
shirt.
Anthony Adas again. Good morning, Ann.
I mean, you do have a name within the title. So I mean,
Yes, this is true. That's my favorite color of all time. My last name kind of fits.
Yep.
So
Makes sense.
speaking of Phils, are the bats seeming to go cold at the worst possible time? Is it just me? Am I wearing it? I know it's only 2 games, right? I know they put up 11 runs, but a few games ago. But I don't know. It just seems to me like is this really going to happen now? Joe, what do you think as far as the bats going cold?
I think, and I said this a couple days ago.
Are you worried, Joey?
I feel like this is a team that we saw in May, and that's a little frightening because we were inconsistent. I think it has a lot to do with Rob Thompson kind of juggling the lineups a little bit more than he should. He's not sticking to his guns like he did for June and July.
Schwarber
I
talked last night.
yeah, but I mean, Derek Hall's not batting and cleanup anymore, and
Sure.
like there's a lot of inconsistency and a lot of shuffling. He's pulling a Girardi,
Your head is shining.
My head is shining.
but I'm going to do something I don't normally do.
What's that?
I'm going to walk back a statement,
Alright.
and I'm going to concede defeat with the idea that they're going to win the division. It's just I
So
after last night, it just
you're
seemed
backing off your words.
Joe, Pat wants to thank the Phillies. Now he has the urge to slap his junk off of his bedpost. Just want to put that out there. I felt the need to interrupt you there just so that you can get that visual.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
It's
So-
more like junk sleep. too.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
All right.
Pat and his junk.
Well, listen. Now that Dave wants to interject, and you can crow, you can.
I'm not
you,
crowing. I'm not saying
listen. I am saying that
Still not over. Still time.
I get that, but it's a lot to come. I mean, look,
11's a lot.
it's a lot, and if this were July, maybe like I stuck with my guns then,
Right.
but there's a lot of hill to climb,
Yep.
and you need a lot of help. It's not just they only have 3 games left with the Mets,
Mhm.
and they're done for the season.
Two today.
Right.
Right.
But that's just too steep of a hill to climb.
Right.
But I am sticking with my guns that they're going to make the playoffs.
Wild card still in play.
No, I'm a firm believer that once they get into the playoffs, they could make some significant noise. But again, because you got to think this lineup's going to shuffle again when Bryce comes back.
Right.
Like we're going to be back into kind of the same turmoil that we're in now because we're trying to feel around where Segura fits in to the lineup.
I heard September 1st for Bryce. Is that correct?
That's what I heard.
Okay.
Although he's now, don't panic. He's on the 60-day IL.
I did hear that too.
But he can come off it in a couple days.
Okay.
So don't panic. That's just a precautionary measure
I'm still
because
trying to figure out why they got a center fielder is batting 104. I can't figure that out for the life of me.
well, Marsh is going to be back in a couple days. And again, this kind of goes back to what I'm saying with the lineups. When you have injuries, when you have people that are down that we're going to come back and be in the starting lineup for sure, it leads to a level of inconsistency when it comes down to the bats. And right now, Tom, exactly what you said, these bats are going cold at the wrong possible time because you need more consistency, especially at this time in the year.
Right.
So
You can't depend on Schwarber all the time.
no,
I mean-
but it's not just Schwarber. I mean, you can
He did 2 on single last. So I'm
you can
saying-
you can look at Alec Baum that since June 1st he was batting like over 300. You could look at Bryson Stott that since July 1st he's been batting
His average is going higher.
250, 270.
Let's see.
No, I mean since July 1st.
Since July. Okay. I'm sorry,
July
right,
1st. So like
yes.
he's been killing it. Now he's been on a little bit of a snub. But
Hey,
I
Sully,
s-
what's up, baby?
I said
What's
this
going
to
on,
Joe
Sully?
on the ride up. So the youngsters, Alec Baum, Derek Hall, Bryson Stott, Veerling, all these guys stepped up when they needed to.
Right.
Now it's time for the guys that we're paying significant money to in Castellanos and JT and Reese to kind of step up and do what they are supposed to do and not put all this pressure on the youngsters. I was saying to Joe as well, Nickar, that before Castellanos got here, I didn't know much about him. I've been following Schwarber's career since his rookie year because I was a big break the curse
Was that
Cubs
with-
guy.
I was gonna say it was the Cubs, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I
Right.
liked the idea of like break the curse because like I followed Epstein's career when he broke the curse in Boston and
Right.
when he broke the curse in Chicago and the rumors that he had that were swirling before Dabrowski got hired that he was going to get hired here.
Right.
I was like, yes. And he's like, I'm going to take a year off. I'm like, no, no, don't take a year off. Come here. We'll pay you. But when I saw Schwarber come here, I was like, wow, that's a big bet. But then Castellanos, everyone kept saying, oh, he's going to be good. He's going to be good. I'm like, okay. I would have rather have had Trevor Story. That's just my feeling. An infielder and an outfielder, and 2 big bats. And I would have felt like that would have been better.
Isn't Castellanos a 5-year deal, though? Is that correct?
Four.
Is it
I think
4?
it's
Four.
5.
Okay,
I think
4.
I think it's like an option of 5 year,
Oh,
a 5th-year option.
Okay.
I don't know if how that's possible, but I think it might be that he's here for either 4 or 5 years.
Well, unfortunately, I do feel like Reese is, and I've said this before. I feel like Reese is gonna work himself out of town by the
Yeah.
end of this. By the end of this off
You actually said that
season,
last week too.
because
Yeah.
I think with Castellanos and Schwarber and Harper and the possibilities of like what you're gonna have to do to sustain or keep some of those young guys when their contracts come up and need to
Right.
be paid, you're not gonna be able to take on $20 million with Reese.
Now,
You're just not.
What I can't understand is in tonight's game, why is Wheeler pitching the first game? Did you think it's
Well, I said this to Matt.
I don't understand that.
I said that. Well, I thought they were going to take last night's game, but
Right.
the reason why I originally said to start Wheeler is because you want to get the day off to a good start.
Well, I get. Oh, okay, that don't make sense. But
You want to smack them in the face.
But Wheeler's numbers are better at night than they are in the daytime. Just saying. I don't know. I mean,
Right. Sean Kilran checks in. He says, "What's up, guys? Phillies have been homered in 8 out of their last 9 games. They tried a new center fielder on Friday, but what they need is Schwarber back in left field to free up a DH spot for another power bat." I totally agree.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree
Totally
with
agree.
Sean.
Could Schwarber run is the question. If he can't run, then what's the point of putting him in left field?
True.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: if you're playing,
I mean, DH
You
is
should-
one thing,
you-
but running's another, and can't run.
Well,
then,
no, I
you-
get
there's
that.
no point in putting him in left field.
I get that, but here's the thing: we got to stop using the DH as like a IL alternate. Like, okay, you're not on the IL, but rather than having you in the IL, we'll have you in the lineup. You just won't do any
Well,
of the
they put
fielding.
Marsh on the IL too. That's my
No, right, for the 10-day IL,
Right.
but they won't. From what I've heard, he is not going to come off and be the DH. Like, that's not going to be the given. And I've actually heard that when Bryce comes back, he may not even want a DH.
Right. That's when. What will Harper returning to this line like do to this lineup when Harper comes back? Now,
Initially,
yeah.
it's going to be a struggle. But I think,
He's going down AAA for a little bit. Hurt.
well, I think initially it's going to be a struggle because you got to gel. You got to get your
Right, he's gotta get his
rhythm back.
His timing's got to be back.
Yeah,
Right.
his rhythm. But I feel like in the long haul, this team locks up a wild card spot. I feel like that's going to happen.
It's so
And we're
tight.
still what, one game up on
It's
the
so-
on the Padres.
We're
Yeah.
still one game
Joe
from
was
the
just showing
Padres,
me.
but it's so tight. It's like between 3 teams.
I mean,
You know, the other thing I gotta say about it too is that, like you said in the beginning, Tom, like with the hits that are struggling now to try to make. I mean, it's just like I don't understand how they can be like trying to go cold at this very time of the season. You know, I get the feeling is that if this continues, it's going to be like, oh god, like what are we going to do now? And now you keep on like shooting yourself in the foot. It's going to continue to haunt them.
I mean,
It could.
I also have
Yeah.
to say, I mean, think about this. They're hitting,
Mhm.
but they're not scoring.
Yeah.
What, they had 9 hits last night?
9 hits with
2
just 2 runs.
Yeah.
That's not good
7
enough.
guys left on base.
Well, Matty B made up a point the other day that they've left them.
400.
A
Four.
ton of guys on base.
Yeah,
this year.
they're up to, well,
A lot
they're
of
past
people
this.
stranded
insane.
in the last few
In
games.
scoring position, it's higher
Well,
now.
last couple of games.
but
I'm not a stat guy like you guys are.
Last time I talked to Matt, he basically said it was like 400 guys left on base in scoring position.
Jeez.
I'm like,
That
that's
is a lot.
400 runs.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the? I'm like, I know you can't get all of them back. Like, I'm not that much of a pragmatist, but still, Jesus, just give me a third of that, and like that's like 20 more wins, 10 more wins. I'll even go 10. That's the low ball.
That's
But-
and that puts you right in the thick of things.
Right. And so, like, for me,
They're still in the thick of things in the wild card spot.
but you
Right,
know,
but that puts you in the thick of things for what
Division.
second place in the division.
I'll ask this question because Pat Bernard brought this up the other day or a couple weeks ago, and I feel like it's a valid point. And this is one of the reasons why I'm like, okay, maybe I'd need to be okay with them not winning the division. Is winning the division now that there's more wild card seeds? Is winning the division as important as it was in the past?
Well, yeah, because it puts you against the lower seed, right? And
Gives you home advantage.
Yeah.
too, which is big.
I mean, I think, what he was getting at is the playoffs in the MLB watered down now because more teams get in.
No, I don't think any. No,
I don't think so.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
Okay.
Because playoffs are playoffs. It's it's win or go home. So
Right.
I mean, if that's the case, the NFL added an extra third card, wild card.
right,
game,
and
so,
I don't think anybody, when it comes down to playoffs, everybody wants more playoffs. So yeah, I don't think so. I mean, if you continued to do it, at some point it would be like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. But no,
Yeah.
I'm all about expanding a little bit. I wish college football would expand the damn
Yeah.
playoffs.
Me and a friend of ours, Tom, has gotten into plenty of arguments about that.
I'm sure.
Yeah, because
That's a great question.
he feels like if you add more in and you get like the more talented teams, like it's not good baseball if you get a more talented team that just demolishes the
Right.
bottom seed. That's not good playoff baseball.
No.
But in baseball, unlike other sports, it's any given day. A pitcher could be on, the bats could be cold, like anything could happen. And like that is kind of a big deal, especially when you're talking about a shortened series. And that's one of the reasons why with the Phillies in the wild card spot, talking about a 3-game series. And that is a very enticing thing for this team if they can get themselves right again.
I'm just shocked Washington's playing spoiler. I mean, what they did last night, they beat San Diego. It's blowing my mind. Like, why is San Diego not winning? I don't get it.
They're not gelled yet. I mean, look, you got a new guy.
I mean, but
Who-
you have pieces like crazy. I mean,
You had to give some away to get
Bell,
him.
you
though.
got Machado. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just
Listen,
whoa! Look who walked in the studio. Holy troll!
Matty B in the building, ladies and
oh
gentlemen.
boy,
Wow.
you hear his name and he comes coming.
His ears.
Oh boy, oh boy,
They
oh
took
boy.
the sign down on your office.
Oh, boy. Matt,
He was already. gone. He's
you've been
down-
mentioned on the show a couple times already. So
He's already downstairs. He's escaped to the safety of the
yeah,
basement.
he's like I'm not. He's
That's a shock.
I didn't think he.
I didn't see that coming either.
Al
man.
knew and didn't tell us. That's what it was.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah, I knew Matt was coming in
Oh,
there.
okay, you knew it.
I think Howie's waiting for him.
I'm not touching that one. I'm gonna leave that one
Is
alone.
Is Howie here?
Either am
I'm
Is
gonna
this-
leave
Is
it.
this a Fanatics final? Do you think we can lure him in, get him up
I'm
there?
gonna leave that one alone because I'm probably gonna be doing more fighting's final with him in the future, and I don't need that. So I'm gonna leave that one
Howdy
right
be
there.
in the house.
Say no more.
I'm gonna leave that one right there.
So let's say this team does make it into the playoffs, makes the wild card. Are they built to make a deep playoff run?
Well,
Depends who's pitching.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Depending on who's pitching.
Muffler Mike checks in and wrote Fanatics final. You know it.
You
With
know
the
it,
PH.
brother.
With the PH.
We're crossing over.
Yes.
Crossfading.
Go ahead,
The
James, what were
overlap
you saying?
show.
But
No, but I'm saying like you said, Dave, with depending on pitching. I mean, like you've looked down on it now. Like who will be the first guy that you think of is going to be the opening, like to start off the series? Would it be Suarez or?
Wheeler, probably
Maybe
Wheeler.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like
He gave up
like,
9 hits the other night, Joey, against the Mets. I mean,
That's
wow,
worrisome.
That's just
Well,
crazy to know.
both big time stud pitchers, Noah and Wheeler, struggling against the Mets is worrisome.
The Mets are just rolling.
I mean,
You can't deny
please
this,
don't
Joe.
make me throw up
Joe,
in my
you
mouth.
cannot
Please,
deny this.
it's
The team
early.
is good.
No, I understand, but I don't have to accept
and,
it either.
And that kid Beatty, that kid, that's
Like
like,
I don't have
wow.
to deny it, but I'm definitely not going to want to accept
I
it.
get it. I get it.
It's
Never
like
even heard
it's
of
like
this
saying the Cowboys have a
I'm
possibility
not
of
saying
winning.
no, we're talking baseball.
No, I
not
know
football,
that, but I'm just saying I don't like the Mets like I
this-
don't like the Cowboys.
they're-
I'm just saying that's the
all
comparison.
I'm saying is the Mets are rolling.
I understand that.
Okay.
That's great for them. Good for them.
The first thing I want you to do is shut your stinking hole.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was long overdue.
Oh, gotta have a little fun here in the morning.
But I mean,
Welcome to the Pattison Ave Phanatics
Oh,
Show, everybody.
You know it.
on
it,
paper,
dude.
Tom, on paper, this team definitely is built for a shortened playoff series and to possibly make a deep playoff run.
That's my thing. It looks on paper.
Right.
This team pretty much has everything you need to make a deep playoff run. However, it's the Phillies. I don't know. There's just some juju
we
out
say
there
that-
over the last 10 seasons or so.
We said this before. You don't play games on paper now.
Right. It's same with the Eagles. They look stacked,
Yeah.
but we're not going to know until
Right.
you know.
Natural season.
yeah.
I mean, look, push comes to shove, you're going to have to see
I
what
hate
this team is
preseason.
really made of.
Oh, you know, I used to hate it, but now there was a couple preseason game, other than the Seattle Chicago game that was a little bit of a snoozer. And Sega Whiteside did a fantastic job, I heard. Other than that, other than that, yeah, I mean, I used to hate preseason, but I think now it's like it's like exciting because like you have like something in store for the
Well,
upcoming
it's
season.
something to watch, but the way I hate preseason is because guys get hurt all the time.
Yeah, and that's the other thing
And
too.
I feel so bad for the guys that are playing for jobs.
There's a like another highlight I was watching. The pack. I mean, the reason why I like preseason is like to see like the Corey Clements out and
Sure.
like the outsiders like make the team.
Right, I get it.
And it's like okay, like say for example, a guy from Green Bay, you probably thought Josh Dodson would be somebody to be looking forward to, but it's somebody I guess like made a catch last night. I forget his name, but they're talking about it on the
Right.
Packers website. I forget what his name is, but he's like a like I guess like a undrafted free agent or something.
Right.
But yeah, I like preseason. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, look, it's preseason, spring training, things like that. It's nice when you've longed for this sport and it comes back.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, I'm ready. I'm ready for regular season action, and I'm
Yeah,
ready
for
for
sure.
playoff action, especially when it comes to this baseball team. Now, hold on one sec.
Go ahead.
Sunday, Jim Gardner is throwing out the first pitch.
Oh wow.
If you guys, I want you to think about this. You guys had to pick one person to throw out an opening pitch, or ring the bell of the Sixers. It can be, it could be past or present. They could be alive or dead. Give it a little thought, and we'll circle back around to this before we jump over to the birds. All right. So, with that said, even though they lost yesterday, and what do you think the biggest reason for this turnaround is? Is it Rob Thompson? Is it that once your skipper gets, shipped out of there, that a lot of guys open their eyes? Is it a different message? What is going on with this team now that they've put themselves at least in a position where we can be talking about potential playoff baseball towards the end of August?
Well, I think it's
It is a very good
mentality
question.
change. I honestly do. I think it's a mentality change with the manager. I think it's a mentality change with the players. But overall, I mean, right now, what we have to look at is okay, what do we need to do to get the train back on course? Is it Bryce? Is it kicking some tires with some, getting
Right.
angry? Rob Thompson doesn't come off to me as a person that just flips over tables. He doesn't.
He's a calm dude.
Yeah. So for me, he actually made a really great point during one of the post games this past week, and he said, when he was with the Yankees, the Angels gave them a hard time in the regular season, but then when the Yankees faced the Angels in the playoffs, they beat them. So I think that's a message in Rob's mind saying, this is all well and good that they're beating us in the season. But the real medal is going to be made when you can beat them in the playoffs.
Right. Good point.
So, like Tom says, you long for certain sports when you see preseason and spring training. You long for that sport and you get excited. But then you want the games to matter, and that's the regular season. Then you want the games to matter even more, and that's the playoffs. Rob Thompson sees that the playoffs are on the horizon, and he doesn't want to put too much stock into what is happening now and just, like he said, play good baseball.
Prior, you got to make it first.
Right. But that's why he's
That's
saying
what I'm
he's got to play good baseball to make
You
it.
got to be there first.
Right.
You got to get your foot in the door before you can,
Right.
And
You got to
playing
crawl
good,
before you can walk.
Right,
And-
exactly.
and you got to play good baseball in order to get to that.
Right.
Right.
And I think that's where it's not about beating the Mets. You have to beat Cincinnati. You have to beat Pittsburgh. You have to
Right.
beat the other
Beat
teams
those
that are
teams.
left.
I think the most fascinating thing is the fact that they're in the position that they're in, because at once Thompson took over, that was a large hill to climb for him, and for the ball club.
Being 22 and 29.
Yeah, and to be in this position on August 20th, there's really not much to complain about. The only thing I'm worried about, and I want to get your guys' kind of take on this is, are you Are you starting to get a little worried about all these nicked up injuries that they're getting now? Seeing as that you were this close to September,
They're adding up.
they are. It seems like they're
it
adding
seems like-
up.
It seems like they are adding up. I agree, Dave.
I mean, I'm worried, but the cavalry's coming.
What is this Calvary thing you keep talking about? What is the
You do
cavalry?
keep saying the cow.
What is the Calvary?
Explain, Joseph. Explain.
When you have a guy like Bryce Harper,
Okay.
he carries the weight, and he proved this last year. He carries the weight of 5 men.
It might take the Calvary 3 weeks to get back to rhythm. That's what I'm saying. When he comes
Well,
back,
I mean,
and by the time you turn it off,
but even if
October's
he
gonna be here.
so wait a minute, if he comes back in September 1st,
okay.
3 weeks is well before October. In your own your words, I'm using your words.
My words.
That you said takes 3 weeks for him to get back in the rhythm.
So if he comes back September 1st, and
3
then
weeks,
what?
we'll
So
put him-
September 21st,
Sure.
and then you still have
2
You
weeks.
got to win the
until
games
playoffs.
though before he comes.
No,
back,
I
though.
get
That's
that.
No, I'm just saying.
I mean,
now if he is coming back from this, is he going to be DH and not playing in the field, or is he going to be back in the field as well?
I've heard rumors that like
I've kind of heard it on both sides. So
Yeah,
I'm
I-
interested to see what you
Look
guys.
at all these rumors.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
listen, I've heard that I think it's Paco Figueroa that he's been working with him in the field to kind of get him oriented to make sure that he can still throw well because
That's a
remember
good song, Dave.
the elbow is still hurt.
Right.
So the hand might be getting healed, but the elbow is still going to have a bit of, aches and pains.
Okay.
Right.
So it depends on how the elbow holds up. And if the elbow is good to go, I mean, look, Bryce is a proud enough guy that he's going to say, I can go, even if he
Of course
feels
he's
like
going to say he can go.
even if he feels like he can only go 80%.
Right. Well, I mean,
Can't
an
take it, no
80%
more.
Bryce Harper is probably better than half the league.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
Absolutely.
If Harper comes back, I mean, we'll see how the chips fall.
All right. Pat Bernard's checking in. The cobbler.
Cobbler
boy.
checks in.
Frankie Frizzo.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. We had Harper throughout April and May. We didn't have an answer for the Mets. He's not wrong.
Yay, Lion.
Yeah, but you're not playing the Mets for the rest of the season.
You're actually done with them after this.
Yeah,
this series.
that's
This is
what-
this
my
is
point.
the series finale.
That's
Essentially.
my point.
You
is-
know, I feel like the.
yeah.
Oh wow,
but
that'll be a
but
festival.
Joey, real quick before you go there, James. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
12-4 against the Mets. 12-4.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Well,
Wait, the
Mets
winning
are
record?
12-4 against
the winning
Phillies.
record?
Yes, right now they're 12-4
in
against
this season.
Damn.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Really?
And
didn't know
I-
that.
And here's the thing: they are also outscoring the Phillies by like a 4-1 margin.
It's insane. It's insane.
It is. Yeah.
And so it's astounding. This is why I'm like, okay, I accept in certain circumstances the facts in front of me. I don't have to like it.
I didn't say you had to
Right.
like it.
I don't have
A lot of
to.
things I don't like, but you can
Right.
accept.
I can accept what they are because they're there in black and white.
Uh-oh.
But I just don't like. I don't have to like what I'm seeing.
I don't think you're like what Anthony has to say.
Anthony's checking in saying, my Mets are a different machine.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
The good coaching staff, good pitching, and good hitters top to bottom.
All right. So the trolls are coming out this morning.
Boy.
I wouldn't go
So
top
it
to bottom, man.
begins.
I think your bottom
The,
lineup
the
isn't that
trolls
great,
are coming
but
out already. I mean, didn't you guys hide under the bridge?
Hey, Anthony tunes into the shows every week.
he does.
I
I give him
understand.
credit. Give him credit.
But if you're gonna poke the bear, know what bear you're poking.
Yeah, that's true too.
So
Can I just say one thing? I mean, I'm not a Mets fan by any stretch, but they have the best closer. He's just absolutely.
I would go
He's
hater.
so good.
I would go
Hater got rocked last night. I was
No,
shocked.
I know.
I
know.
was shocked when I saw that. Oh my god!
But I still think in the longevity, hater.
Oh, he's
better
oh
than
he's
Diaz.
he's white. He's great.
it's a good thing you brought Hader up. Did you guys know that Josh Hader, ever since that home run to Veerwing, he has
You mean
basically
Stott?
he basically like
I thought it was Bohm.
no after like during the season when the
Yeah,
back
it
to
was
back
Stott and
homers.
Bomb.
Oh, I thought it was a Veerwing too.
No.
I think it was
But-
Stott and Bohm. Yeah.
But that being said, he hasn't been the same ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, because
That's
Stott
nice
was
to know.
Stott was the first.
Joey, you're being addressed by Pat Bernard
Uh-oh.
by name. Hammer. The NL runs through the New York. That's Pat. You need to proofread something. If we want to make it to the World Series, we have to beat up the biggest bully in the yard, and they're taking our lunch money every time.
First off,
How do you get it back to food every time?
Because he's the gobbler.
He is the gobbler. Gotta respect it.
First off, I won't deny that baseball goes through New York. I won't deny that. But doesn't mean they have to go through New York to get to the World Series, because New York might not play us in the playoffs right away.
If we make it.
Right. But in the wild card,
It's
we're
a
not
big
gonna
if.
play, we're not going to make it to a point where we're going to be playing the Mets in the shortened series.
We could.
No, we wouldn't.
Sure.
They would be division winners.
That's true.
You know,
So-
I'm not sure about this, but if the Phillies make either the second or third wild card, what does that stand for? The Phillies having a home game? Like, does one of them have do they have all home
It's a
field
good
advantage?
question.
Joe Scorza says someone else might knock the Mets off beforehand. That would be ideal.
It would be ideal.
And
The Phillies are not bad of a team. Anthony checks in again. It could be a lot worse, like the Yankees.
That's
Ooh.
true, Andy.
Okay, now you got me back in
What-
your favor. now you got me back in your favor.
What's up with the Yankees losing all these series all the time?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
Because the Yankees
That-
buy talent instead of,
Cultivating
enrich
it in their farm
cultivating.
system?
Thank you.
I mean,
Right.
no, I'm just saying the Yankees have lost a lot of series lately.
Well,
Right.
and you got to think with all the guys they had. Well, here's the other thing I heard. Since they've traded Joey Gallo, they've been on it.
Joey Gallo is garbage.
No, but ever since
Joey
they
Gallo
traded
goes
Joey
to the
Gallo,
Dodgers and he's still garbage. I don't know
every
That was a bum.
understand something.
165, whatever he's come on,
Right,
man.
but since Joey Gallo went to the Dodgers, the
Yeah.
Dodgers are streaking upward and the Yankees are streaking downward. Joey Gallo is the
Is he the
linchpin.
key?
Yeah, he's the linchpin.
Wow.
He's so terrible batting average wise, but
He's so bad.
this is this era's major league.
Right.
You're going to Ryan Howard. I mean, Ryan Howard would thrive in this
Mhm.
major league because you're either going to strike out or homer.
Either one, right?
You're
Right.
not. There's no in between. Like guys like Shane Victorino, guys that will pimp and pop and get doubles and triples. Nah, not in this league. I mean,
No.
you get some but even with an Austin Riley who does get on base a lot, he's got 20-some plus home runs. This guy is still popping it out of the yard.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, Joey Gallo is the linchpin, and Mike, you made up for the Mets comment.
So let me ask you guys a question.
Hmm.
What are your expectations going throughout the rest of the regular season for this Phillies teams? What do you expect?
Finish strong.
True.
You expect them to finish
They-
strong,
they
or
ha-
you would like them
I would
to
like them
finish
to
strong?
finish strong.
What do you expect is going to happen?
I think they fall.
Yeah, you think they fall apart?
I think they fall apart at the end.
You know,
As much as I hate to
last week
say
we-
that,
last week we both disagreed about what happened with the Phillies, but if they haven't been, I can't understand why that all of a sudden after a successful, what was it on Monday that they had 12 runs
something
again,
like that,
or
yeah,
something like
yeah,
that,
Yeah.
and it was just okay, the bats are coming alive again, and now they feel like they're going cold turkey again.
Well, that 1-0 loss to the Reds really hurt.
Yeah,
I mean, if they would have swept the Reds, that would have been a little bit better. But
That
kid,
was Rangers
but
game.
that kid pitched a heck of a game for the Reds. Though.
I agree.
Lolo,
Yeah.
what was his name? Lolo,
Lolo,
something like that.
Lolo
Lolo-
Alio.
Never heard of the kid before,
I-
but what he did, he pitched 8 strong innings.
Pat
And
Pat
that's
checking
such a
in
good
saying
loss.
his expectations are a second round knockout in the postseason.
Second round.
Second
Wow.
round?
Second round now.
Joey,
We're
what
talking about the Phillies, not the Sixers.
Joey, what are your
If they make it to the second round,
expectations?
that's pretty amazing, if you ask me.
What are your expectations of this team throughout for the rest of the season, the regular season?
See, they play Cincinnati again. They play Pittsburgh. They
Teams
got
that-
the Astros
they should
later. They got the Braves for 7. My expectation is that this team's going to still come out in a playoff position,
Okay.
and I still feel like they're still going to struggle because, like I said, when Bryce comes back, it's still going to be the massive,
Calvary.
the juggling,
But the
the juggling of the lineups, and so for me, it's My expectation is this is going to be for the rest of the long stretch is going to be 10 to 15 games over 500.
Okay.
That's what I think they're going to do in the next coming games.
Okay.
So, and I feel like that's going to be enough to solidify
Can they
playoff
still
spot.
run a split in the series or what? You think?
They have to hit them hard today. I
Yeah.
mean, 2 games today.
Doubleheader.
You can conceivably, if the Phillies get off to a really good start in the 1:00 game, they could punch the Mets in the mouth, and the Mets might not get up.
I mean, TK, who's pitching game 2? Do we know?
Falter.
Oh, it's Falter. Okay.
Which I don't understand, to be honest.
Well, and Syndergaard would have gone on Sunday,
He's
but
going Monday,
they have him going on Monday, and they have Gibson going
which
on.
I am going Monday,
Sunday.
actually. I didn't realize that, but I am.
You know, I don't mean to sound like I'm being like obtuse about Kyle Gibson, but he's inconsistent. I'm
Yeah, but
sorry.
Kyle gives you 7 innings strong.
Yeah,
You know?
but I get that. But sometimes, I mean, look, a couple of nights ago with those back-to-back homers, like,
Is he
you can't
pitching
be
tomorrow?
doing that.
Yeah,
I think he's pitching
Gotcha.
tomorrow. Yeah, but you can't be doing that, especially in playoff contention.
Are you surprised they didn't flex that tomorrow night's game to 8:00? I thought, or 7:00.
Is it a national televised?
I don't know.
No, it's a
It's
1:30 game.
1:35, whatever.
I don't know who is.
I'm,
Sunday
I'm,
night
I'm
game.
asking, are you surprised they didn't flex it the way they? I mean, I would.
I'll be honest with you. I'm glad they didn't because the Sunday night baseball crew just stinks. Yeah, it stinks. Yes, it stinks.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's terrible. I don't like the format. I don't like you talk to players while they're playing.
Yeah,
That's
it's like-
ridiculous.
I'm not a fan.
I never liked that. I never liked that at all.
Right.
Like, I don't need you talking to my guy while he's out in the outfield trying to play the game.
Catch a ball.
Exactly.
Like,
my
please,
brother.
like, would you ever see an NBA player like LeBron James get mic'd up as he's trying to, like, go down the court?
Well, they do that off camera when they have like a microphone on
Right.
some of the players.
Pat Bernard's on a roll
But they don't
today.
talk to the commentator though. That's the thing.
You know, Gobbler.
Says, remember, Hammer, the weather gets colder in October. When the weather gets cold, so do Nola and Hoskins.
Instead of who needs
You
to
know,
get hot, it's
you
who
know,
needs to get
Gobbler.
cold.
If you're up, I've always
He
said
comes
you
at
have.
5:30.
I've said that there's a nice seat, nice and warm, right here next to me.
Actually, there's no seat there.
Okay.
But anyway,
We can put one there.
we can put one there.
We can put
But how
one there.
how we cardboard cutout there?
We might have to make you stand, Pat. Maybe in the corner with a dunce cap on.
Mike with the
Don't put Stan in the
Cardinals.
corner.
Muffler Mike says in 06, Cardinals go 83-78 and win the World Series with a emoji face.
Well, I mean, he is right, but I mean, I don't see the team being like the Cardinals. But it all
Yeah.
depends. It all depends on when you land.
Well, I even go back to I think it was either 06 or 07 with the Colorado Rockies, and they went
Colorado Rockies.
they went on a 20-game winning streak
Is that what
going
it was?
into the playoffs.
Beat it our asses.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks
well,
for the
I'm,
reminder.
I'm sorry.
The
I'm
Rocks.
sorry. It was a valid point, James. I wasn't trying to
sorry.
bring up.
He wasn't going there, James.
I'm not-
James
I'm
just
sorry.
lit you up.
I'm just not trying to judge up bad memories. I
Thanks
know.
for the reminder. you
Jesus.
jerk.
Nope.
It's all James's fault.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah?
say anything. He
What a
just-
jerk store called, and they're running out
I
of you.
knew.
I love it. I love it.
Oh man.
Well, listen. Let's hope they can pull this together and
Hey
and
Pat, get on a side of a train. Either get on the Phillies or get off the train.
somehow take this
Jeez.
series. Pat, if you have the call-in number, feel free to give us.
Oh,
a
we
buzz.
we could throw that out.
have the
Feel
number?
free to give us a buzz.
The
Yeah, but-
time is yours.
Go have a ham sandwich. Time's yours.
All right, Andy, we hear you. Maddie,
Tackers.
B, how are you?
Barbecue.
What's up, Matty B?
Good to see
What's
you.
happening, Matt?
He's awake and conscious.
There was no final last night, sir. What's up? Okay.
Dave longs to see your face. There is a football team in this town, and there's preseason football on a Sunday. It's very rare.
When did the
Yeah.
10 playoffs start?
What's that?
When did the 10 playoffs start?
What playoffs?
10 playoffs. When do they start?
Oh, Temple. I don't
Oh, I don't know.
You said
not
football
till-
team. I said
not
Temple.
till
You know?
not until September.
Okay.
Temple.
Don't
What
don't
much
poke
gets
don't
happened?
poke. my-
Don't start,
Don't,
Dave.
don't do this.
Don't.
You said
Li-
football
listen,
team. You
I
didn't-
have Mike from
he didn't-
Manhattan
he didn't
that's
say
picking on me.
professional.
Pat
He
Gobbler.
said football, so I said, okay, there's Temple.
We talk birds here.
I know.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Thank
Just
you.
remember
Thank you,
that.
Stone
Amen.
Cold Steve Austin.
Mike Laro checking in. What's up, Mike?
Michael, what's up, man?
Thank you for everybody checking in on the text board. We
You're
we definitely appreciate it. Yeah, we try
We
and get
love
everybody's
it.
comments in here and
Joey appreciates
you
it more
know,
than anybody.
talk them out on the air, and we don't hold any punches here on the Pattison Ave Phanatics Show,
Joey.
that's for sure. Did anyone else hear how Jordan Mailata dominated Myles Garrett in one-on-ones?
Yes, I did.
That is
I did.
Mike Laura, excellent. Cowboys still stink.
Yeah, Mike. Love you too.
He loves talking about the birds with men. You just love talking about birds with men, Bernard.
Or birds too, man.
Birds about men's birds, whatever.
Thank you. You beat me to the punch.
Pigeons.
That's some exciting stuff. And then after practice, there's a picture of Lane Johnson, Mailata, and Myles Garrett standing around talking, and Mailata's picking the guy's brain. And he's one of the best at what he does in the league. And for Mailata to not only win those one-on-ones, but then pick his brain shows a lot about this guy, kid, if you will, just wants to get better.
Yeah.
And I mean, the sky's the limit for him.
And I'll give Cleveland a lot of credit. They have two really good bookends in Clowney.
Now you guys see what I have to deal with. Hey, Mike, Pat was on the Pattison Ave Phanatics for quite some time. Believe me,
Yeah.
I know what you have to deal with.
Oh, believe me, we're the ones that gave him the impetus.
Yes. Once we opened that Pandora's box, it never closed again.
We apologize.
Now, and he just kicked the lid off of it and ran with
Pat
it.
loves his junk.
Loves this junk. He
we
likes to slap it
apologize.
against things.
Him in the jacuzzi.
Pat just has an interesting way of describing when he gets excited. That's all. That's
okay.
all.
So
You know, if you want to
he likes to slap it around. That's
slap
all.
a salami in a windmill or
excite
whatever the
Joey
hell
at
he
all.
wants to do.
Just slap the gabagool everywhere.
Yeah.
Joey does not get excited.
This gets awkward.
He goes in the delis and slaps it on the counter and says, "Find a bun for that." He does. Sometimes we go off the rails here on the Pattison Ave Phanatics Show.
Sometimes when you've been around other guys half naked, you get a little frisky.
Especially in the jacuzzi, Joey.
Hey, if for anybody who can go into a ring with I'm going to get to that, Mike. Mike wants Kareem Hunt. I do as well. I'm definitely going to get to that. Anybody who goes in the ring in a Speedo, throwing other oily men around in front of groups of people, they're going to be a little off. You know what I mean?
Can't see Matty B doing that.
Where's the porn music when we need it?
You know what, Joey? I may be able to help you
Where
out there.
the hell did this go wrong?
Oh, here
Oh,
we go.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Football season's about to start, Pat.
Let's go.
Oh my God!
I want my bird out with the birds.
He just looks down at himself in the mirror and he's, "Go bird,
Slapping his junk.
go bird," singular. Oh wait, what is this? Yes. I love the belly to butt suplex. And the music just
Joey has lost it. Joey has lost it.
Thanks everybody for tuning in to the Pattison Ave Phanatics Show. God help us all.
Joey's going nuts over here.
Oh man,
We might be off the air.
the FCC is about to chop this door down with axes.
I was going to throw us off the air quick.
Yo, that music dropped right as we said that. That's why everybody's cracking up. Pat's Red Rocket is up this morning, he says. You know, Pat, you get upset when people curse on your show. And look at you talking about all this stuff.
This Red Rocket is up.
Poor Mike. He just wrote dude with
What's that, dude?
To quote Rob Ellis, let's get it back to the Eagles here.
Please.
Oh
We were
my-
talking about big men and
Oh
we
my
just
God.
went off the rails.
Oily bodies and, you know. The 80s porn music is great. It's great, but it's got nothing on the 70s porn
got
music.
the squiggly lines. You got to need the squiggly lines, guys. You know? Oh God, here we go.
The 80s porn music's got nothing on the 70s porn
Talking
music.
about Shaft, baby. Talking about
know it.
Shaft.
Shaft.
Talking about a Shaft.
Does anybody out there think that Dallas Goedert's going to have a monster year this year?
Absolutely.
Is that not the vibe that you're getting? Yes, I'm letting the porn music play in the background a little bit. We're just jamming over here this morning. God, what is wrong with us? All right.
I'm sorry, what was the question, man?
I
Norm,
think it was Dallas Goedert, if I'm not mistaken.
yo,
Dallas
Deal
Goedert
said we
got
just
porn
gained 10 more people in our lobby for that segment.
I love it.
That is
Norm.
you've been listening to Pattison Ave After Dark. God help us all. When the girls had hairy bushes, Anthony checks in. Yes, we are off the rails, folks. And I don't know.
We started.
I don't know if we're getting back on the rails.
We started this when we started the show. We started at 8:30 p.m. So it's only fitting that we go after dark at 9 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah, you could say that.
Pattison Ave After Dark.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know what the FCC would rate us by now. Anyhow,
We
Best show we've done in a long time.
we venture from Pattison Ave over to 7th and Moymense. All right.
so
Goddard.
Dallas Goedert.
Goddard, yes.
Goddard, yes.
I have a feeling it's midnight somewhere, Pat said. Just get the hell out of here. Way to go, Pat. You know, Pat is the reason this whole show went off the rails.
Hey, we jumped from 10 guys watching 10, 14 to 15. We're on a roll now, guys.
Oh my God.
Keep it rolling.
Oh my God. Husky Gaming with AJ and Devontae on the outside. That will open up the middle for Dallas nicely. I agree with you. That's my cousin Sean. I agree with you, Sean.
Well,
Wholeheartedly.
I also feel like Quez is going to have a breakout year.
Yo, and listen to me right now. You heard it here first. Do not sleep on Jalen Reagor this year. Do not sleep on Reagor this year. I will.
I heard a trade possibility for him.
If he's still here, if he remains here. Okay. Let me preface with this. Okay. There is zero pressure on him this year. Think about the last couple of seasons. He had to be 1 and then 2. Now he's what? At best 3, probably 4. Right. Zero pressure on Jalen Reagor. Now, the only issue is if Hurts can get further into his progression. Because last year he was 1-2 and that was it. You know, 1-2 and running, 1-2 and throwing out of bounds. So if he can go through his progressions further, now instead of Reagor being keyed up against the other team's best corners, he's your third, fourth down the line.
Is he behind Pascal?
Probably. I would think is Pascal your 3, Joe? Reagor your 4?
No, I think Pascal is your 4, but I think he alternates with Reagor to be the 4. I think it's 4 by committee.
I'm telling you right now, you heard it here first. Do not sleep on that man this season because so much emphasis is going to be put on Brown and Devontae that I just have a feeling he's going to have a pretty good season. I'm not saying he's going to have
3.
I wouldn't go. I mean,
Reagor, you're 3. Are you go Reagor 3?
No, probably 4.
Okay, 4. Okay,
probably 4.
Quez is going to go off.
Quez Watkins like that?
But Quez is going to go off because everyone's going to pay attention to those AJ and Devontae, and everyone's going to forget about Quez in Dallas, and that's where But I don't disagree with you in some ways, Tom.
Yeah.
It's a matter of how often will they put him on the field. Right. So I don't disagree with you that he will have less pressure and more open opportunities, but how often are they going to put him on the field?
And my cousin disagrees. He said Reagor can't catch a cold. His upside is maybe 500 yards at best. And he's going to be the 5th receiver behind Pascal and Quez. I have a feeling that he's going to vie for that 4th spot. I'm basing what I'm saying on the fact that he will be in that, 4th rotation, 3rd, 4th, 5th rotation.
Yeah, but 500 yards for a 4th guy isn't that bad.
No, it's not that bad. But
no.
I see him having more than that. But my cousin knows football very well, and is well within his rights to disagree. I will just never put any of your comments up here ever again, Sean. No, I'm just kidding.
Tom's not spiteful.
Not at all. Sean plays video games with me. He knows very well that I'm spiteful. Yeah, and Joe says, don't forget Zach Pascal in the slot. Absolutely. Rager will be elsewhere. Mike, I do feel like that he may be a chip in some sort of a trade or something like that, because he on some other teams, like, think about how deep your receiver room went from last year to this year. It definitely got a little deeper.
Well, if I had to say where I think or how I think Rager would be traded, I think he'd be a chip with along with somebody else who I feel like has played himself out of this team, and that's Derek Barnett.
Where would he go?
Well, listen, injuries happen,
Mm-hmm.
and so there are some GMs that feel like Rager would fit their mold at 3.
Yes.
And so they'd be willing to give up very minimal, but if you throw like a Derek Barnett in there where they need defensive line help and they need that third wide receiver,
Right.
that might sweeten the deal for what you get back in return.
Gotcha.
I think what Rager needs to do if he wants to stay on this team is that he probably, I know for sure he's not going to be a slot guy, so I think that's going to be Quez Watkins's spot to have, and maybe it's going to be a debate either Pascal or either Rager or maybe probably some like special teamer
Or
he has to take.
the kid that's the sprinter, if you make
Like
team.
the Coveys of the world, if he ever
Allen or whatever.
or
his
Devin
name is.
Allen, yeah, sure,
Devin
yeah.
Allen. Like, because he's, usually
I
that
haven't seen
slot
Devin
guy.
Allen a lot lately.
I haven't heard much about him.
No, I haven't heard much about him ever
yeah.
since that race.
Who's that?
Yeah,
Who?
Devin
Devin
Allen.
Allen.
He's the
Devin Allen.
sprinter.
I heard
So-
more about Covey than that. Than Devin
My
Allen.
my cousin Joe says Rager and Barnett may be a first or second for a safety by trade deadline. I would do that.
Possibility.
I would absolutely do that.
Or certifiable north-south running back because Miles Sanders won't be here next year.
Yeah.
So
that's the
let me
thing.
ask you a question. If they somehow go out and get Kareem Hunt, right? Does he automatically become your RB1?
I would think so.
Yeah, I think so. But
Joe, what's the face?
yeah,
I'm torn because
He's torn. You can just see his face. He's torn.
because the player on the field is good. The player off the field's a bonehead.
Okay, well, I mean, we've had
we
boneheads
talking about
in here
Miles here?
before.
No, I'm
No,
talking
Kareem
about
Hunt.
Oh, Green Hunt. Sorry.
Well, we're going from one idiot to another idiot.
Okay.
So
I'm just asking.
Tom knows how I feel about like guys talking out of school about like, oh, we're going to be a dream team or we're going to be
No,
like,
all-star
dude.
team. Get it
Whatever.
right.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Vince Young, 2011,
This-
2012 season, same thing
distinction
happened.
without
And
a
look what they did.
difference.
Does that bug you, Joey?
it's
yes.
like a curse or something.
No, because Miles doesn't have the right to say that.
Okay.
He doesn't have neither did Vince.
Okay.
You don't have a position to say that.
You know, let
If
me
Jason Kelsey wants to say that on Mike, he's all full well and good to do it.
Right.
let me
But not Miles.
let me say this about the Miles Sanders thing. It's that, like, if it's like AJ Brown trying to hype up the team, okay, fine. But it's like Miles Sanders is like he's like on his probably last leg, and I think it was just a curse for saying that.
How
Could
about this, Miles? Play 17 games.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Just saying. Like,
Wow,
why
so-
don't you show up?
Has there been a season where he's
Bingo.
gone off for?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
That's why I'm asking. I didn't know.
Pat checking in again with this wideout core. This is the time to use him. I'm assuming you're speaking on Rager. If you have any faith in the guy, there's no pressure on him. That's basically what I was saying, Pat.
Same here.
Let me
Well, needless to say, I have no faith in the guy. I wasn't a big proponent for drafting him in the first place, but at the same time, if you could put him and package him with, I'm with your cousin, and if you could package him and Barnett, get something really quality back, regardless if it's Hunt or someone,
Didn't Barnett just sign a huge tier deal not too long ago?
yeah,
I
2
think
years.
so.
Okay.
It wasn't a big deal.
I'm saying it was 2-year deal. All right.
Yeah, it would be a very minimal.
Yeah, this was
Yeah.
before the draft, right?
Yeah.
When we traded him.
And but
Drafted him.
but
Not drafted
he's
him,
been invisible.
Sign him. Sorry.
I mean, he's been absolutely invisible on
So,
the defensive
so
line.
my cousin brings up, we've had Mike Vick on this team at one point, but Sanders, Kareem, and Scott will create a very good running back committee. Yeah, we had Vick on this team, but Vick paid his debt to society and actually completely changed his image and how he does things. So I would go more on knucklehead like a TO, because talent levels up there, but you're
All we need is
outside the locker room shenanigans kind of precede you.
Yeah.
In a way.
Like it kind of feels like it's going to be like a firework display of like if he's not getting the ball enough.
But Sean, you're absolutely right. I would love to have him, Scott, and Sanders in that running back room. It would really make for. With this O line, come on, man.
I would tell you
your options on running back too.
I would tell you, and I know that it's probably not on the table, but I would tell you a deal I would do in a heartbeat.
What's that?
It's Rager and Barnett to the Steelers for Najee Harris.
Ooh.
That's what I would do in a heartbeat.
I dig that.
Yeah, but I don't think the Steelers.
I don't think
I
the Steelers would go for that. I know
that.
I'm not saying that either.
Because they need youth and they need it because they're rebuilding. There's
who's rebuilding? Seattle. Wow. Are you
Yeah.
kidding? I was watching Geno Smith the other day. He is nothing but garbage.
Well, yeah, we all know that.
Garbage.
Well,
But I'm saying you went from Russell Wilson to Geno Smith.
the only
That's a jump.
the only Geno that
a
matters,
fall.
It's
right?
a fall, right? It's a fall. Exactly.
You know the only Genos that matters, right? Geno Stakes.
Right. I get it.
That's
And
the
they
only
don't
Geno.
even matter.
Okay, well,
But I was watching
Sanders, Barnett, Minshew, Rager.
there goes my free
Stinnett gets
cheesesteak,
traded.
Tom. Thanks.
Sorry, Joe.
Senate. Who the hell is Senate?
I think Joe Scores said I think if Hunt came here, the locker room would keep him in line. There are enough true leaders to do it. If there was a Kelsey on the team in 05, T.O. might not have been such a problem. But there were Kelsey-like people on the team in 05.
John Runyon.
But right, because
You had Runyon.
you had Dawkins, you had Trotter, and why? Right, they didn't step up. That was kind of, So, but this team, with Lane Johnsons and the Kelseys, I mean, very well could
Kareem
keep
Hunt
them in
would
line.
definitely be
An upgrade.
Yeah.
So I have a quick question about things. So in a lot of these joint practices you've been seeing around the NFL, there's been a lot of scuffles, a lot of fights.
I've seen that.
So
Yes, I've seen
my
that.
question to you guys is that a mentality change? Like they're just trying to get just a viral video, or are people just losing their minds? Because I get in the heat of battle,
tempers
you
fly,
you get fired up.
Sure.
I've been there.
Sure.
But it seems like it's happening more this year than it's happened in quite some time.
Could it be the? I mean, a lot of teams they do practice outside, and
The heat.
Whether heat's hot, you're wearing a lot to padding.
The heat's hot. Info
Breaking
of the day.
news.
Info of the day.
breaking news.
You know what I meant. The heat hot to the players,
Water's wet.
meaning getting frustrated, upset.
Just piss. You're not going to piss on your feet
Right.
or whatever the hell I
Right.
said.
Whatever that means.
But I mean, it's just interesting because usually,
I'm up.
and I still don't understand these joint practices. Really, I really don't.
Heat of the moment.
I was actually that was one of my questions, Joey.
I
That's an
don't.
excellent
Thank you.
segue. How do you feel about the joint practices? Was one of my next questions.
I really don't get it. I don't.
I mean,
The Eagles win a lot of them.
But what?
Oh God! Don't start. Please don't start.
Well, according to Mr. Parks that I keep hearing, the Eagles keep winning those games. I don't know.
there are more fights this year because the players are on steroids. Thanks, Anthony, for that insightful gem. I don't think there's any more than
I'm just
any
saying,
other
I
year.
keep hearing the Eagles are winning these joint practices.
I just don't get it. I mean, if we don't like preseasons, if we minimize the preseason games, but then we elevate that to joint practices,
I think there's more chances of getting hurt in joint practices than I mean, it's crazy.
Well, here's the thing about the joint practices.
Guys pulling an ankle or something.
I think the one thing I like about it, the joint practices, is to see what they have in store for the season.
Oh, you do like it?
Well, I mean, it's not like I enjoy it, but
Right.
it's something interesting. I mean, a couple days ago, Jalen Hurts looked very good against the Browns defense, which is pretty. I mean, even though it's only practice,
we talking about practice games.
I know, but I'm just.
But
game.
how much of either side is showing their true hand?
I think it's the Eagles. I think it's the Eagles
Well,
that
it could
showed
be-
it.
That could be any team.
I mean, like a lot of.
Well, no, you're going to get a lot of vanilla.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, I get that.
But I mean, that's why we disliked some preseason games.
Right.
It's like, so why do it when you can't make? I mean, if anything, the NFL's not making money off the joint practices because you don't have any attendance. You
But
don't
they
have any.
might if they keep showing God, they might ask you to pay for to watch these joint practices. I mean, I'm just saying it's an idea for the NFL.
Don't give Goodell any
Pay to
more
watch
ideas.
this.
Goodell doesn't have a brain on his head. If
I'm
someone
just
gave it
saying.
to him,
I just follow Al Thompson from Football Stories on Facebook, and I get to see all the inside info on the joint practices whenever I want.
You liking them?
There you go. What's that?
Are you liking the joint practices?
I think there's benefits to it, and I think there's, I don't want to say reasons I wouldn't do it, but I don't know if the benefits outweigh, any negative that may come out of it.
how do you think a joint practice would go between the Fighting Irish and Notre Dame and USC?
That will be
Well,
a
if
bloodbath.
I was running the joint practice,
That'd be pretty ugly.
if I was running the joint practice, I would give the wrong directions to the USC bus driver. But that's just me.
I would just hold the sword.
I can't.
I would just hold the sword on the sideline. Like,
Everything that
guy,
USC stands for makes me want to vomit.
I would just hold the sword on the sidelines. I'd take the sword and I'd be like, any one of you guys hits my guy in the wrong way,
Hey, Dave, Zeke or Pollard?
I'm gonna Highlander your ass.
It's Norm.
That's good.
Zeke or Pollard? Great question.
I go Pollard.
I know 90% of you say Pollard. I get it, but I've been watching Zeke in practice. He looks really good. I know it's practice. I get it, but
Why are you
I'm
whispering?
gonna go Zeke. I'm gonna go Zeke.
All right, there you have it, folks.
Breaking news.
Dave likes Zeke Elliott.
So just go with
I had
Pollard.
to think about it for a
He
second.
likes men in crop tops.
That
I'm
says
sure
a lot.
Pat does too. He's
That
gonna slam
says
his
a
junk.
lot.
Gonna slam his junk
That
against
says
something.
a lot.
It does. It definitely does.
I'm not following the Gobbler. Come on.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing. I feel like Zeke's is not going to be a Cowboy by the end of the year.
I think he will, because he's gonna work his. He's gonna. I think he's gonna have a good season this year. I really.
Because
do.
this is last year.
I think it might
right?
not be if you put.
No, I'm saying this is
right
last year.
for his contract. Yes, it is. Right.
So I mean, for me, it's
my cousin says when it comes to Hurts specifically, practice doesn't matter. He's the kind of guy that shows up and balls out on game day. People turn these practices into the Super Bowl every year. Well, Hurts hasn't shown up and balled out on game day, which is why a lot of people are putting him under a microscope in these practices to see how he's improved from last season. Getting different looks is always helpful. Seeing, you don't want to see the same mundane thing. But again, most of the looks are going to be vanilla. You're not getting anything.
Yeah.
You would literally have to be a moron as a head coach to show really anything in these practices. This is when you run, your average run of the mill plays with no deviations off of them and not running any real things that you can kind of tip your hand.
so it's basically like you're playing vanilla, like you're playing a practice like you would if you're playing against your own team, but you're
Dave in a crop top and spandex taking his basketball shot.
Clarence Shippen knocks down 2 in a row, and the Raiders lead only by 20 with 20 seconds to go. So Serrano making things happen for the Aces, and they trail only by 20.
Dave Yarno,
Dave Yarno for 3.
Oh.
Every time we put the video up, I'm sorry. Sorry, Dave.
so
Sorry, bro.
Hold on. Joe Sullivan, I know it's practice, but he made a throw yesterday I hadn't seen him make. Was that 40-yarder on a rope to Brown in between two defenders, Joe?
I think it was.
I didn't get to see the video of that, but I heard about it. Anytime he's throwing something over 20, 30 yards, and it's, splitting defenders in a tight window.
So when is it going to be enough for people to understand that this kid's a talented
Yeah,
quarterback?
Joe.
I'm over.
When's it
I
gonna
need to see more.
But what is? I mean,
Listen, everybody that's at this level has some sort of talent. However, it's what has he done between year one, official, unofficial, but full season one and full season number two. His off-season routine, working out with the wide receivers, bringing in A.J. Brown, all these different factors. This O-line getting reinforced in front of him and has depth. That running back room. Will they add a Kareem Hunt? All these things are factors in what he will eventually look like. I want to see his decision making. I need to see him going further into his progressions this year, and that's why if Rager's still around, I think Rager, if Hertz has worked on, getting to his fourth receiver,
then he's worked on his
then
progression.
then you know that he's worked on his progression. So
because if he gets to Rager, you're like, okay, well, he had to go 1, 2, 3,
right,
4.
or Quez or Zach Pascal,
Right.
not just Goddard,
right.
AJ Brown or Devontae. So
Right.
yeah, let's see all this stuff they put around them. They've set him up for success. We just got to see what the result of it is.
I mean, I heard an absurd number, and I'm like, no way would I even go that high. But like, someone was like, well, he's not going to have like 5,000 yards passing. I'm like, well, hold on. I'm not saying he will either.
How many quarterbacks have 5,000 yards passing in a season?
Right, and that's why I'm like, why are we putting that bar where he has to reach? It's like, no, that's not fair. I'm like, first off, I would honestly say that
Oh my God,
he's the prototype.
Dave, after that game, did you go to the gym and practice your shooting? Because I know Ben Simmons won't go to the gym and practice his shooting, or Westbrook. From Anthony with love.
You know that Westbrook retweeted that.
I don't remember.
Retweeted what? That
The
thing
post,
where
yeah. He has a sense of humor, at least. But like, that's the thing is, for me, I feel like this is like Hurts is I hate giving Howie credit. God damn it. But Howie saw this coming. He saw that we weren't going to be able to hold on to Nick Foles.
I'm sick and tired of this Howie hate.
I'm
if anybody in this building's got a problem with it, I'd like to talk to them.
I think somebody's in the building.
I'm not hating. I'm not. This is me. Like,
I know.
Does Fire Howie ring a bell?
But what I'm basically saying is Howie kind of saw the long game,
right?
Because he saw the prototype for what the quarterbacks look like now that are successful. The Josh Allens, the Pat Mahomes,
Lamar Jackson,
the
mobile,
the mobile dual threat quarterbacks that aren't just pocket passers. Look at the guy that's going to be coming out a year from now, the guy who won the Heisman from Bama. He's basically the same thing as a Jalen Hurts, a mobile dual threat quarterback. Mm-hmm. This is the norm. I hate to tell everybody out there, the era of the pocket passer is no longer.
So
right. My cousin Sean checks in again. He says, "What are your guys' thoughts on the OC taking over the play calling on offense? Does that generate any concern about Sirianni and his ability to coach? No, not for me. I taking things off your plate as a head coach so you can manage the game. No, that doesn't concern me at all. I am looking forward to seeing how that's going to work out this season. I personally think,
if anything, it's taught me the lack of ego that Nick has.
Right.
Because most coaches in the past have not had that, wherewithal and humbleness to step back.
As in trust in your OC, Shane?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it too. I think it's better than no offense to Sirianni, but I think it's Steichen calling the plays. I think it takes it weight off of Sirianni's shoulders.
And allows him to manage the game and do do more than just focus on the plays.
This is why I said, like, the coaches are under the microscope this year, because you got to think now that Steichen has all of the play calling responsibilities, and so does Gannon, and then Nick's responsible for the management, the game management, and whatnot. If these guys screw up their roles, we're gonna know. It's going to be right there in front of us. We're going to know.
See the Gannon thing. A lot of people had taken issue with the fact that he didn't really blitz last year. And I'm a big fan of blitzing, and everyone is, but they set this up for him to where it's going to work to his strengths. If his strengths are not blitzing, this front seven is going to be able to get to the quarterback.
I like my linebackers.
Yes,
and they
as
did,
do I.
They did their job with getting linebackers.
This might be the best attention I've ever seen them pay to the linebacker position since Jeffrey Lurie has owned this football team.
That's one position the Eagles don't really focus on.
No,
lately.
And
But, I mean,
and
the
since
past,
Laurie
in the
since
past.
Laurie's owned the team.
But lately they have. That's even the draft they took.
You know,
and
the
then
one
Kobe
thing I
Dean.
liked about it last week, even though it was a preseason game, the penalties look like simmered down a hell of a lot than
Wish
it
we could
was
say
last
that.
year.
But go ahead.
No, I'm just saying they look like they are balancing like penalties. I mean, I didn't see any bonehead penalties.
That's good.
Anthony's saying the coaches are safe right now because they made the playoffs. They most certainly are not. I disagree.
Yeah.
At least Gannon. If Gannon cannot put this defense in position to make plays, he is gone.
Yes.
The hot
He
seat.
is
Absolutely.
Is he
If-
gone or is he on the hot seat?
If
He's on the hot seat.
if the offense looks like it takes a step in the wrong direction, Nick Sirianni will be taking play calling duties back.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure on this coaching staff
Yep.
because it's their second year, because they made the playoffs
Yep.
last year. No one is safe. Now they have expectations on them.
Well, you
Yep.
remember last year, with
In my opinion.
the expectations last year were 4 or 5 wins by most.
Right.
Now the expectations are
Oh my God.
a hell of a lot.
Oh,
higher.
my
What did they have?
God.
They had 9 wins last year? Was it 9?
9. Yeah, they were 9 and
9-8?
9 and 8.
But I mean, like that's the thing is, the majority of the people had low expectations. Now they have extraordinarily high expectations,
Yes.
and that needs to be lived up to. And to even like touch on that even more, I'm not a big Jonathan Gannon fan yet because he still hasn't proven it.
Keyword fans. Yeah.
Yet. Because the guy still has a lot to prove to me. I mean, look, there was a guy on the painted lines that said after the first preseason game that he's on board with Gannon. I can't jump ship
No.
that quick.
Right.
I'm very particular about my defense, and
Just because Kaiser White makes an interception because of his athleticism doesn't mean that Gannon was the one who put him in the position to do so. Joe, it's been a while since I've agreed with you this much on a show, but I 100% agree. I cannot say that Gannon is, hands down safe and I'm fully, confident in him doing good things this season. I need to see it, and preseason is not the time that you're going to see it.
How many coaching jobs did Gannon go for before the season started? Didn't he go out for like
3.
3? And he was
Interviews for head
interviews
coaching
coach,
position?
Yeah. How many? Yeah.
It was the Dolphins, the Texans, and I forget what the third one was. But it was those two were the ones, and it was right after I forget the guy who got fired from Miami, but
The head
when
coach,
he got
right.
fired, like
Right.
Gannon was interviewed like 2 weeks later.
Didn't he get didn't one show he had like these 2 interviews that still didn't get the job?
Well, he got called back.
But yes, I'm saying
Right,
called
he
back,
got
right.
called back.
Right.
But the problem was he had declined the job.
Okay.
My cousin's saying Gannon did not have the personnel to blitz more than 5 last year. The defense was designed just to defend the big plays. Now we have the necessary players in order to generate a lot of pressure and 2 really good corners to stop any deep passing. And look out for Marcus Epps. I think the guy's going to be a stud. Gannon's MO though on the defensive side of the ball has always been not to blitz, whether having personnel or not. So we will see this year.
Although he did in the preseason game 1.
Well,
he did.
Let's see if maybe his philosophy changes.
Right.
Maybe my cousin's spot on here and saying last year
Right.
he didn't have the personnel and now he feels like he does.
Well,
So
you have Nathan Garrett, you had Sean
Right.
Bradley, you had TJ Edwards as your best linebacker. That's not saying much.
right. So now with
True,
all
Tony,
of
it's
these
true.
with all of these pieces to this puzzle, but with a Fletcher Cox and a Jordan Davis clogging up that middle, there's
Who's stopping Jordan Davis?
Nobody.
not a soul.
I mean,
He's getting triple teamed. He's been in the league for a cup of coffee. He's getting triple teamed. It's ridiculous.
Because he's so big.
Yeah, well, yeah. But now Fletcher was the one who was usually taking on the double teams, and now what are you going to do?
Look,
that's 2/3 of your line blocking 2 guys. Somebody's getting free,
Yeah.
and now you you don't have to blitz in order for somebody to get free.
Correct.
and then what happens when you do? It's like,
Well,
oh boy.
I'm all for blitzing.
Yeah.
So let's just see what happens. That front 7 is going to wreak havoc.
I
feel it in my bones.
There was an article by Ruben Frank the other day that discussed about how like Jordan Davis could be the game changer
Right.
for this defense, both now and going forward. And he basically said he's never seen in his whole time of writing for the Philadelphia Eagles, he has never seen a defensive lineman get up the field even by being double teamed.
Right.
And he's like, this guy's explosion is, and I believe I'm paraphrasing, he said Jerome Brown-esque.
Wow. That's big
And
words.
I'm like, whoa.
yeah, that's
I'm like, okay, so there's that.
man child.
Right.
Man child, essentially.
People worried about his weight. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I
but
mean,
my question is, Joey, is he consistent? Is he going to be a consistent downs now?
Oh,
Is
hell
all-
yeah.
I mean, can he go 4 straight
not
downs?
not
Three straight
not
downs?
initially.
See, I
No,
don't think so either.
I don't.
That's why
I
I'm
think
asking.
he'll be brought in on first and second.
Right.
First and second to stop the run,
Right.
and then take a blow, and then maybe come back in.
But you got
next
Milton
series.
and Hargraves, so he doesn't have to.
Right.
However, as his conditioning improves throughout the
Yes.
season, and I was when I was talking with Kyle Quinn on Thursday, we were talking about this. As his conditioning improves, I do believe that he will earn more downs.
Okay.
With each defensive series.
Hi, Kyle.
Hi, Kyle. I think you guys
are.
are asking the wrong questions. It's not who's going to stop Davis. It's how many. That's my cousin with a laughy face emoji. It's true because I'm telling you, if 2/3 of your O line has to key on 2 players on the D line, that's a problem.
Listen, it's in
Big,
wrestling
big
terms,
problem.
it's a handicap match. It's always going to be a
2-on-1.
handicap match.
Yep.
And understand, this is a guy that it's like Big Show against Rey Mysterio.
Yo, and
Omos versus
by the
Mysterio.
way, Kaiser White, who I've been singing his praises since they got him, 8th most tackles in the NFL last year, not for linebackers, but for all defensive players.
I mentioned that to
Kai-
you, Joey, like a while back. I said to you.
Kaiser White, not just him, but now you have Hassan Reddick coming off the edge. There's a big time problems that this defensive front is going to cause other teams.
Hassan
and
Reddick-
I know-
With now solid cornerback play.
And I'm gonna, because I know James is probably beat red right now, and I'm gonna mention.
he's getting there.
I'm gonna mention the guy that you didn't mention, and that's Nakobe Dean, because that guy,
James's guy.
that dog, he had 5 tackles.
Yes,
in 1 quarter.
I know.
This boy's gonna feast.
I think
right.
game 7 or 8 he'll be starting. I don't think he's going to start
No, I
right
don't think he's
out
gonna
of the
start
gate.
right away. I
But
think
he's got quality people in front of him to watch,
Yeah,
to learn from.
I think he's
But-
gonna probably like after the bye week, maybe like week 6 or 7. Maybe.
yeah,
Around that
yeah,
same
right in
time.
that right in that general time
Did
frame.
his contract end in Carolina, or was it up?
Hassan Reddick.
Yes,
No, it was up.
it was up.
was up.
Yeah.
Oh, it was up. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man,
so
that's-
he
that's a
was
hell of
free
a
agent.
line.
He got traded from Arizona to Carolina,
Okay.
and then
Right.
the reason why they did it was Arizona couldn't pay him,
Right.
Okay.
so they wanted to cut bait with him. And it's fun. And congratulations to Zach Ertz for his son that was born the other day, Madden Ertz.
Madden.
Madden
Madden.
Ertz.
Last question before we get out of here. In their prime, what tight end would you rather have, Ertz or Goddard?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Ertz.
Really?
Yeah, I was leaning towards Goddard as well.
Yeah,
No yak sack compared to what Goddard can do after he catches the ball.
It's
I-
true. I mean, that's a very good question.
I
Ertz
pick Ertz because he's got better red zone awareness, so he's going to get you more points.
Okay.
So, and I mean, he proved it in the Super Bowl.
I think I would go Ertz too, Joey. Honestly, I would.
I think
I'd
I
go
got to go
Ertz.
with. I hate to say that it's Ertz, but I got to go with Goddard.
Really?
Yeah, I got to go with Goddard.
I wanted to go wrap back around, Tom, before we left, because
Sorry, Zach.
you proposed the question.
Sure.
If it was, you could pick one person to ring a bell.
Yeah.
throw out a
I have
first
actually
pitch.
forgot about
Yeah.
Good question.
So,
Good segue.
I would have someone throw out a first pitch, and that person would be Harry
that.
Cowles.
You're a bitch. Don't mind. Son of a bitch. I should have said it first. I know I should have said it first.
I was gonna do
Harry
an
Cowles?
opposite ripple effect. I was gonna say Merrill Restore at the first pitch,
Oh,
and Harry Kells ring the bell.
okay. Okay, Dave, you got anybody?
Troy Aikman.
No.
Wow.
No.
Damn.
That's tough.
Roger Staubach.
No.
Okay.
No.
He just pulled a George Costanza, my father did.
Um,
Good night, everybody.
I'm gonna go old school. Randall.
Ooh, Randall for throwing out the first pitch.
Sure. Whatever.
All right. Okay.
So throwing out the first pitch. Now that I don't have Harry Callis, I'm going to go Ray Diddy. Throw out the first pitch.
There you go.
Ray Diddy.
Did he already do it?
Yeah,
they did.
that's well, whatever.
You
You fucking stole mine. I had to do it on the fly. So listen, everybody, I am on call next week with work, so I have no idea what my schedule is going to look like. Maybe you guys will do the show from home, or
we will be on StreamYard.
yeah, we'll be here. I may or may not be. I don't know. Like I said, it just depends on my work schedule. But the fellas will still be here in full force. So for Joseph Marks, James Scorza, Dave Yarnell, for Damon Salim and Frank Finnegan, who aren't in today, I'm Tom Kelly. This is a Pattison Ave Phanatics Show, and we're out of here.
F it. I am the Don. F it.
Go Birds.